Prologue. The ocean has many faces, gentle as a lullaby, or fierce as a beast roaring in rage. Beneath its sapphire depths lies a world unknown to man, where secrets sleep and ancient stories stir with the currents. One such tale begins with a storm, a shipwreck, and a miracle. Elion was 17, a boy with dreams of discovering the world beyond his small coastal village. His heart had always been drawn to the sea, fascinated by the legends his grandmother used to whisper, stories of sea gods, shipwrecks, and mermaids. He dismissed them as folklore, yet something always pulled at his spirit. When he finally got the chance to work aboard the Ebon Crest, a merchant ship heading for a faraway island, he seized the opportunity. 4 weeks they sailed under fair skies and good winds, until one cursed night. Dark clouds rolled in faster than a hawk's dive, the sea turned black and waves towered like mountains. The crew scrambled, ropes snapped, the mast splintered, and the Ebon Crest cracked like an eggshell. Elion was thrown overboard, swallowed by the roaring sea. Darkness. Elion awoke coughing, his chest burning. Salt stung his eyes. He was alive. Somehow he lay on the sands of a hidden island, surrounded by cliffs and coral groves. No sign of the ship or the crew. Just the hush of the sea and the call of distant gulls. But someone was watching him. From beneath the water, eyes the color of moonlight observed him. She had skin like ocean pearl and hair that flowed like kelp in the tide. Her name was Nerida, a mermaid, daughter of the Reef Queen, protector of the sacred cove. It was she who had rescued him, pulling him from the abyss and guiding him to this isolated shore. She should have left him to the tide. But something about his eyes, a quiet sorrow, a flicker of hope, stirred her heart. She stayed hidden, watching for days as Elion built shelter, hunted crabs, and tried sending smoke signals. On the 4th day he wept. That night, Nerida surfaced. Elion thought he was dreaming. A beautiful girl with glistening scales and glowing eyes sat perched on a rock, humming a song that made the ocean still. When she spoke, her voice was like wind over water. "I saved you," she said simply. He was stunned. "You're a mermaid. And you are very lost." It was the beginning of their connection. Cautiously at first they spoke. Each day she'd visit him at twilight. She taught him to catch fish with seaweed nets and find fresh water from the cliffs. He taught her human songs and tales from the world above. Their friendship blossomed. Days melted into weeks. Laughter replaced loneliness. She showed him glowing coral gardens beneath the waves. He carved her seashell necklaces. When she laughed, it was sunlight on water. When he smiled, it lit her soul. Then came the night of the moon festival. The days passed like flowing water, each one weaving a stronger bond between Elion and Nerida. The boy who had been a stranger on the island now felt less alone, wrapped in the rhythm of tides and the melody of her voice. At first, their conversations were curious and cautious. Elion asked about her world, the coral towers beneath the sea, the moonlit dances, the ancient songs sung by sea witches. Nerida, in turn, asked about the world of men, about ships, trees that touched the sky, and stories told beside fires. "I've never walked on land," she said one evening, reclining on a smooth stone while the waves gently caressed her shimmering tail. "I've only seen it from the surface. It looks lonely." Elion chuckled softly, drawing figures in the sand with a stick. "It can be. But it's beautiful too. There are trees that blossom pink in spring, and birds that sing for no reason. There's laughter, music, food that warms your soul. But also war, pain. We are complicated." "And yet," Nerida murmured, tilting her head with a wistful smile, "you are kind, gentle. And you are a miracle," he whispered without realizing it. The moon rose high, casting silver trails over the sea. Elion felt something shift, something deep. It wasn't just gratitude he felt toward Nerida. It was longing. A fierce, quiet ache that only grew with every tide. One morning Nerida didn't come. Elion waited on the shore, his eyes scanning the horizon until the sun gave way to stars. Panic twisted in his gut. He called out her name. No answer but the wind and the rolling surf. For 2 days he was alone again, the old ache of isolation returning like a wound reopened. Then just before dawn on the 3rd day he heard her song. It was faint but full of sorrow, like the sea itself was crying. He ran to the cliffs and saw her resting among the tidipools, her hair tangled with seaweed, her eyes dull with exhaustion. "What happened?" he asked, kneeling beside her. Nerida's voice was barely a whisper. "There was a breach in the reef. Dark things from the trench tried to rise. My mother summoned us to guard the boundary. You fought. We all did. The sea isn't always peaceful, Elion. It has its monsters just like your world." He helped her into a warm tidipool where her strength could slowly return. As he bathed her wounds with gentle hands, their fingers intertwined. That night, she slept beside him beneath a canopy of stars, her tail tucked like a blanket around them both. It was the first time Elion held her. Not just as a savior or a mystery, but as someone he was beginning to love more than he could understand. Nerida began sharing more than just stories. She sang to Elion the laments of Lorelei, old mermaid hymns about forbidden love between sea folk and humans, loves that ended in ruin. She showed him sacred relics hidden in underwater caverns, glowing conch shells that held voices of the dead, pearls that shimmered with dreams, sea glass mirrors that showed one's truest desire. Each time he dove with her, he saw more than beauty, he saw danger, duty, a realm ruled by old laws. Nerida's world was ancient, unbending. Humans were not trusted. "I could be banished for what I'm doing," she admitted, brushing his wet hair away as they floated in a kelp forest. "Mermaids are forbidden from revealing themselves, much less falling for a human." Elion's heart pounded. "But, are you?" She looked at him, eyes shining with tears and salt. "I think I already have." 1,000 emotions swelled within him. Fear, joy, longing. But before he could answer, the water around them darkened. A shadow moved beneath the sea floor. A voice echoed, sharp and ancient. "You've broken the boundary, daughter of the reef." From the depths rose Queen Lysara, Nerida's mother, majestic and terrifying. Her tail was silver and black like a storm cloud, her eyes like whirlpools. Her crown was coral, her voice thunder. "You dare bring a human into our sacred places? You risk revealing us to the upper world." Lysara's rage boiled the waters. Elion stepped forward, trembling. "I didn't mean harm. I just wanted to be with her." Queen Lysara snarled. "You always want humans. You take in poison and burn. And now you take my daughter's heart." "I didn't take it," Elion said, voice shaking. "She gave it, and I gave her mine." Nerida swam between them. "Mother, stop. He's not like the others. He's kind and brave. He saved me as much as I saved him." "You defy me?" the queen whispered coldly. "Then let the sea judge you both." With a wave of her trident, a maelstrom swallowed Elion whole. Elion was dragged into darkness, his limbs heavy, his lungs burning. He sank and sank, the weight of salt and magic pulling him under. Visions swirled around him, flashes of his village, his mother's smile, Nerida's laughter. Then, nothing. But death did not take him. Instead, he awoke inside a glowing bubble of air, floating in a trench of ancient bones and ruins. A voice stirred around him. "Do you love her enough to lose yourself?" Elion nodded, even though he didn't know who or what spoke. "Do you love her enough to become something new?" "Yes," he whispered. A spirit in the shape of a sea dragon emerged, its body made of mist and coral. It was the guardian of the deep pact, a forgotten god who once united mare and man. It pressed its forehead to Elion's. "You shall have the breath of both worlds. But your soul will be bound. If you betray her, you will be turned to foam." Light consumed him. Nerida wept for days, believing Elion was gone forever. She sang to the stars, dove into every cave, screamed into the tide. Then on the 7th day he emerged from the sea, alive, glowing faintly, his lungs able to breathe both air and water. She ran to him, crying and laughing all at once. He held her, heart thundering. "I found my way back to you." And so their love deepened. Secretly, quietly. On land they danced under the moon. In water they swam with the dolphins. But always the threat of discovery loomed. Queen Lysara had vanished into exile, but others watched. Sea folk murmured. Humans suspected. They needed a way to live fully, openly. And so began their quest for the Heartstone Lagoon, the only place in the world where their two worlds could truly unite. For weeks, the island that had once been a place of shipwrecked sorrow now became a harbor of love and dreams. Elion and Nerida, bound by the ocean's whisper and the heart's call, lived like spirits caught between two realities. But love, as they learned, was not enough on its own. It needed a home, a future. And so began their most dangerous journey yet, the search for the Heartstone Lagoon, a mythical place said to lie at the edge of the world where sea met sky in eternal embrace. The legends claimed it was guarded by ancient spirits and wrapped in a veil of illusion so that only true-hearted lovers could find it. It was there, they believed, that they could forge a life, where Elion could walk beneath the sea without losing breath, and Nerida could step upon land without pain. But finding it would not be easy. The only soul who might know the location of the lagoon was a banished sea witch named Mirella, once advisor to Queen Lysara, now exiled for meddling with dark spells. Her lair lay deep within the spiral kelp forest, where currents twisted like knots and light could not penetrate. Nerida was terrified of Mirella. "She speaks in riddles and smiles like a knife," she warned Elion. Still they had no choice. Guided by moonlight and courage, they swam past jagged reefs and glowing jellyfish until they reached the witch's cavern, a swirling dome of sea glass, guarded by electric eels and ink clouds. Mirella appeared like a shadow blooming into form. Her eyes were white, her hair a flowing net of octopus arms. "I've been expecting you, lovers," she hissed, her voice like oil on water. "We seek the Heartstone Lagoon," Elion said bravely. Mirella grinned. "Do you now? And what will you give for its secret?" "I'll give my voice," Nerida said, thinking of the old mermaid legends. But Mirella laughed. "Not your voice, sweet fish. Your memory of your love. Your first meeting, your first kiss. You will keep the boy but forget how your love began." Nerida gasped. Elion stepped forward. "Then take mine instead." Mirella studied him with a strange softness. "You would give up the roots of your love just so she may keep hers?" "Yes," he whispered. The witch blinked as if surprised. Then she waved her hand, and a scroll of living coral appeared in the water, floating to them. "Go west until the stars vanish and the sea turns silver. There the Heartstone awaits. But beware, every love must be tested." Elion and Nerida journeyed for days. They faced storms that screamed, waters that froze, and mirages that played tricks on their senses. But it was the trial of the tide that nearly broke them. It came in the form of a siren named Saphra, beautiful and cruel, born from the foam of broken hearts. She appeared to Elion when he was separated from Nerida during a violent whirlpool. Saphra sang sweet lies. "She's already forgotten your love," she whispered. "She traded your memory to save herself." Elion's heart clenched. Doubt seeped in. He remembered Mirella's spell. Could it be true? Could Nerida not remember the spark that ignited their love? When Nerida finally found him, Elion looked into her eyes, searching for recognition. She smiled warmly and held his hand, but her words confirmed it. "I don't know where we began," she said. "But I know where I want us to go." He wept, not out of loss but out of love deeper than any memory. The bond they shared had grown beyond beginnings. It was present. It was real. They passed the trial. The sea opened into silver light. The lagoon was beyond imagining. A ring of glowing water surrounded a crystal island that floated on air and drifted on sea. The Heartstone itself pulsed at the center like a beating heart, carved with ancient runes. They stepped into the circle together, hand in hand. A voice, neither male nor female, boomed all around. "Are your hearts true?" "Yes," they whispered in unison. "Are you willing to give up everything you were, to become something new?" "Yes." "Then be as one. Neither land nor sea, but love eternal." The stone flared. Light wrapped around Elion. Gills formed on his neck, yet his lungs remained. Nerida's tail shimmered, then split into legs, but when she dove she could swim like she always had. They had become beings of both worlds. But joy was short-lived. Queen Lysara, having heard whispers of their union, returned with fury. She rose from the waves, trident in hand, demanding her daughter abandon the human and return to the sea throne. "I will not," Nerida said, voice like thunder. "Love is not weakness. It is strength. We will not hide it anymore." Elion stepped forward. We will not run. We ask for peace. For a long moment, silence hung like mist. Then Lysara did something no one expected. She dropped her trident. I see now, she said slowly. You are not just in love. You are changed. You are the beginning of something new. The sea around them shimmered. And in that moment, the ancient hatred between sea and land cracked like a shell. The queen left in silence. But she did not return to exile, she returned to rule with new eyes. Elion and Nerida returned to the island, but it was no longer a prison. It became a haven. Word spread across waters and winds. Sea folk and humans, once fearful, began meeting in secret coves, sharing stories, even love. Their home was neither land nor sea, but both, a house of coral and stone with windows that opened to ocean and sky. Nerida tended a garden of glowing sea lilies. Elion wrote tales by the shore. On full moons, they hosted dances where dolphins sang and violins played. They grew old together, but differently. For their love had touched the Heartstone and their aging was slow. They would walk the tides of time hand in hand, heart in heart. Children say if you walk by the sea on a quiet night, you can hear their song. A lullaby of waves and wind. Of a boy lost to the sea. Of a mermaid who saved him. And of a love so strong, it carved a path between two worlds. The end.